Yo, 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 welcome everybody.
Yo,
What it do, beautiful people? Got the three-headed monster here today. Full, full crew today. Myself, Bruce, Dom. Welcome everybody to Bear Down Breakdown, your source for all things Chicago Bears. This is episode 27,
27.
and
Wow.
we racking them up, and it's finally a victory Monday, guys. Finally.
Victory Monday.
My
Haven't had one of
first my first victory pod as a co-host.
yes, that is true.
This is
That
exciting.
sucks. That's so
Wow.
sad. That's like, I mean, no, like, I love having DC, man. You've been a great addition, but the fact that he had to go this long
Yeah.
because the Bears kept losing. Oh my God.
I forgot what
Yeah.
it felt like to win.
Right?
I really did.
Yeah, it's been a rough 5 weeks, or 4 weeks, this fifth week. Granted some fruit. Finally. But yeah,
I like how
welcome
you worded
everybody.
that. That's nice.
Welcome everybody to to Bear Down Breakdown. We're gonna talk briefly, obviously, about the dub on Thursday night. Already feels like it's been a week
It
since
has.
we played,
It
but
yeah.
that's why those Thursday night games just kind of suck, especially after you win because it feels like it's taking forever. But yeah, we'll talk briefly about the game. I have a couple questions for the guys that I want to that I heard on radio and saw on Twitter, and it's the two probably most talked about subjects regarding the Bears, and it's probably going to be something we're going to be asking for multiple episodes
Yeah.
as the season goes on.
Yes.
But before we talk sports, obviously we just like to catch up on life because we're all bros and we all got lives, and it's just nice to catch up real quick.
We're brothers.
Just breaking ice before we talk sports. Give me a high five. Shout out to Wayne's brothers. Yeah. So B, Dom, how you guys doing? What's going on? How's life?
Dama's Victory Monday is your first one. You
There you
take
go.
it first, brother.
Hey man, I'm still riding that high. I was texting my buddies. I was like, man, inject this into my veins. Like this, listen, like watching Justin play that way. I haven't seen it since that Pittsburgh game. Honestly, even all the games last year, he didn't play that way. So life for me is good. Right now I can't complain. Blackhawks opener tomorrow. I'm riding high right now. I don't want to think about Sunday yet. I'm not there yet, but I'm doing good.
Chicago sports world doing good.
Yeah.
B, how you doing?
Man. Hey man, life is lifing. That's how life is lifing. You know what I'm saying, man? You wake up every day and you just got to get through it. That's it. You know what I'm saying? You can. I think sports is an outlet for all of us, right? I am that guy where, like this past weekend, Saturday, I put two TVs together and I just watched college football. Me and my son sat back and we just watched college football. And then I watched the MLB playoffs. And then Sunday, was more football. And then, so sports is just that beautiful outlet. Even checked in for 7 seconds of Bulls and Milwaukee Bucks. Literally 7 seconds. I saw Billy Donovan's face and I turned right after that. I was like, okay, enough of that. He's still a coach.
I was gonna say he's probably just killing a piece of gum.
Oh, it was 7 seconds of Billy Donovan. I was like, oh man, he's still a coach of the Bulls. They just couldn't get rid of him. So, but nah, man, sports is an amazing outlet for all of us, and I just got a chance to partake in it a lot this weekend. So, I'm happy about that. Everything feels better, like DC just said. Everything feels great after a Bears dub. So, yeah, man. Life is life, and that's gonna be a T-shirt. Somebody's gonna take that and gonna put that on a T-shirt and make a lot of money.
Get
And
on
I'm
it,
gonna be
B.
like, Yeah.
Get on it.
Well, hey man, don't you like everybody makes a t-shirt these days? Everybody knows how to make a t-shirt. Shout out to my big bro, Optimus Will Mendez. He makes that stuff. So
shout out to Will.
Yeah, I gotta hit him up. But
yeah,
how you doing, bro?
We got to get him to get Rollo back on the podcast.
Oh no, we don't. we don't need that.
Shout out to the OGs. If you know what we're talking about when we mention Rollo, you are an OG.
Facts. Facts.
But I'm all right, man. I'm fighting like a little cold right now. So I'm sorry if my voice sounds a little weird. But
I had that too. That was at the end of the last pod. I started coughing, and that it's been going since.
My whole house.
The season, man.
My whole house. Yeah, it's that season where every kid in school is sick, and your kid brings it back home, and now everybody's. This is one of those. So yeah.
Are we still like paranoid with like, oh, is it Corona? Do I still, or are you just kind of past that and you just like, oh man, I just got a cold, I'm straight.
I haven't even heard anybody call it Corona in
you know what I'm saying?
Long.
Remember when it first hit? Like you like, man, your nose started itching. You was like, dang, I got the virus.
Yeah,
with my booster shot.
Shortness of breath is what they used to say. I used to. Terrified as soon as I walk up the stairs, and I'm like, "What?
Right.
I gotta get a COVID test
with my mask."
And I'd keep like flaming hot Cheetos and like a bottle of cologne, and make sure I can still smell and taste everything. Like, oh no, I'm good. Like,
smart. That's smart,
man.
Yeah, I mean it. Yeah, I mean it could be COVID. I don't know. I just
At this point, it's like whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I've had COVID tests go positive and I felt fine, and I've had COVID tests go negative and I felt like absolute crap. So it's like at this point, who knows? Man. But yeah, 'tis the season for that.
No doubt.
But anyway, let's talk some sports, or Bears specifically, because we are Bear Down Breakdown. And guys, we got the dub on Thursday night. First win since October of almost a full 365 days. I think it was like 340 something days since we had a win.
Wow.
Since that Monday night game against the Patriots. It just seems like prime time is when we get these wins. But Bears 40-20 on the Commanders. Justin Fields, I mean, what can you say? You went 15-29, 282 yards, 4 touchdowns, passer rating of 125.3. And then probably the bigger story was DJ Moore. Remember sending you guys, because Amazon has that X-ray view where you can like watch the game and see the stats right next to the game. And I was just sending you guys pictures of DJ Moore's stats every like quarter,
crazy, man.
And it was insane. 8 catches, 230 yards, 3 tutties. Just bonkers. And what's crazy is I found out that wasn't even the single game receiving record.
You took my thought right away from it. I thought he had it, right? I thought
he had it too. But I forget who they said holds the record.
Alshon Jeffrey. Right. I think it was 247 for Alshon.
Yeah.
I was like, what game was that?
I think Josh McCown was the quarterback of that game.
Okay.
That might have been against the Cowboys. I don't know.
Man.
But yeah, that was pretty surprising to me that he didn't break that record. But he balled out. Actually, only 3 receivers caught a pass in this whole game.
That's crazy.
It was DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, and
Tonyan.
Robert Tonyan. Yeah, just absolutely insane. But yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on this dub? Real quick thoughts.
I mean, it feels good to get a win. I mean, you thought you was close the week before against Denver, and I mean, you were close. You had a 28-7 lead, so it just that felt good. And to all the people out there that got on us Bears fans because they was like, "Oh, you guys are celebrating like you won the Super Bowl." Look, they lost 14 in a row. You know what I'm saying? Like, we enjoyed that, and the reason why I think we enjoyed it the most is because of our quarterback. We all talked about how we want to see him succeed, and one of the things we talked about in the last show was him being, putting those consistent games together, those back-to-back games. And man, how has he? I mean, the last 2 games he's thrown over 800 yards, 8 touchdowns, 1 interception. Pass rating is incredible. And the one stat that really stuck out when you talk about DJ Moore, the connection with Fields and Moore, that connection all season, he has a perfect passer rating when throwing a ball to DJ Moore. Like, that in itself shows the work that they put in the offseason that led up to games like that that he had this past Thursday. So amazing feeling to get a win. Look, against a Washington team that gave Philly all it could handle the week before. And I mean, has some really good. What scared me about that Commanders team was those wide receivers. Not really like big time household names, but they got some talent in McLaren and Dotson and Samuels. It's some talent. So that scared me with the injuries that we had on defense. But the defense stepped up when it needed to, and just overall, just a really good win.
Yeah, it really was. And I thought the thing that surprised me most was in the first half, the offensive line was a brick wall. Yeah. And against that defensive front, with a healthy Chase Young and Sweat, and I mean, I was shocked the most probably by that, and the fact that Flus was sending pressure, especially with the injuries in the secondary. I was like, wait, is this a blitz that I see? Like, I couldn't I couldn't believe it, and it just didn't look like the Bears that we had seen. It begs the question, why did it take this long? If these changes were capable, why did it take this long? Because this is how the team should be playing, and but it was great to see. There were no fourth quarter turnovers by Justin, which has been my biggest gripe with him. I know he's capable of this stuff. I saw him do it in college. I saw him do it in the pros. I know he's capable of this. It's the fourth quarter turnovers that have plagued him. And that's the difference between a, maybe starter, maybe backup, kind of Trubisky, or a starter, a franchise quarterback. Like, can you not do that? Can you come out the other end? I forget who said it. Typically, you don't see quarterbacks go through what Justin has gone through and come out the other side better. You almost never see that. So, if he can continue this, great. But it was just awesome to see. It was like, like I said, injected into my veins. I was watching it just like, I couldn't believe it. I was speechless.
Yeah, I think you have to give Luke Getsy a lot of credit. Even though you would have liked to see this from the jump, right? And I tweeted this. Like, last year, it took 7 games for Luke Getsy to swallow his pride, realize that what he's trying to get Justin to do isn't in Justin's strengths, and adjust the offense. It took 7 weeks. This year, it took 4. Now,
next year it takes 2.
You would want it to trend. Yeah, you would want it to be crisp from the jump, but you got to remember also that a lot of people don't want to put a whole lot of weight into preseason, but these guys barely played in the preseason.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. None of them played in the preseason.
Yeah, and you only have 3 preseason games on top of that. So you look at a lot of these offenses, and a lot of them struggled for the first 2-3 weeks. Kansas City, it took them to play us to get their offense going.
We're that get right team.
Yeah, well, I guess we are. But yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of offenses around the league were struggling in the first couple weeks. But yeah, I tip my hat to Luke. He incorporated the tush push, or whatever you want to call it.
Everybody's doing it now.
The 2-cheek sneak.
Yeah.
I like that one.
I don't think nobody you can't
cheek
really
sneak.
just the cheek sneak, the tush push. You just is nothing that'll really just suffice what you could call it.
Yeah, they're all kind of
The
weird,
butt
but it
push. Oh
works.
wow.
It works. It's like unstoppable.
We
And
got a
obviously they're
quarterback
gonna.
like Justin. Like,
I mean, and honestly, I don't even think it matters what quarterback you have. I think that play is going to
Anybody.
work
Yeah.
90% of the time.
I
Because you look
seen
at Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is tiny. He's not a big dude.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
granted, Philly's offensive line is nasty, but it's like 90. I think they said it on the broadcast. It's like 96% of the time when they run that play, it works.
It's so successful. I saw shout out to NFL Red Zone. I saw Andy Dalton with the Carolina Panthers come in and convert that same play. Andy Dalton. They took
Just for
Bryce
that
Young
play.
out to bring Andy Dalton in just because it's his size, and that it worked. It worked.
Yeah, they might break Bryce Young's back if they try to do that.
Yeah.
He looks so small out there.
He does. But I give credit. I give a lot of credit to Luke Getsy for scheming things up for DJ Moore. Obviously, Bruce, you said it. Justin's passer rating is perfect when he targets him. So he should be getting at least 10 targets a game at the very least.
Yeah.
10 targets a game. And I mean the defense, man, I tweeted this too. I tweeted a picture of a Madden play that basically is like a nickel corner blitz that I use a lot when I play Madden. And it just seemed like Flus was just calling that same play every time. I mean that corner. I forget who was playing nickel for Kyler Gordon in this game. I mean, it was probably you, Bruce. I mean, there was so many injuries.
Because I had no idea.
There were some numbers out there. I was just like,
backfield.
I had no idea.
Who this is.
Yeah, I didn't know either. But that I just kept seeing him come and pause. I just kept seeing him go. I kept seeing him blitz that slot corner. They're gonna soundbite me for that one. Blitz that slot corner, and it worked sometimes. It Washington did a good job of game planning for that or adjusting to that afterwards because I think he had like 388 yards passing or whatever it was. Sam Howell. But yeah, I mean, I credit Flus for trying something different, and that's all I wanted him to do was try something different. Like you cannot walk into this game playing pre-vet defense almost every single snap.
Right.
And just let this team right back into it. And for a minute there, it did look scary. It did look
a little spooky. Yeah.
Yeah.
It did.
It did. And I think all of us Bears fans were thinking, oh, not again. Not again. But Dom, you said it. Justin showed up in the fourth quarter. He threw that pass to DJ Moore.
Now
for that long touchdown that sealed the game.
Here's the thing. Hear me out here. Some of those flat, like those, I don't know what you call that route to DJ. Those are like the quintessential Jay Cutler pick six ball. And I've seen it so many times. And so Justin threw about 2 or 3 of those. One of them was he, looked like he placed it in the right place so DJ could grab it and, do the rest. But those are risky. And it's,
they are.
Is that something that, we got to keep doing, or did he get lucky, or was it just a perfectly thrown ball? Because those were scaring me.
Yeah, you know what? I like to I'm going to look at it as we have a really dynamic receiver, because if you watch in the NFL, it just seems like the really, really good receivers, like they make those plays. They don't get those. Like I think if he was throwing that pass to like a Darnell Mooney or like a St. Brown, you know what I'm saying? That it might have got picked, but when you can throw it to your wide receiver one, and I see this throughout the NFL where you just give them a chance. You give those really good receivers a chance, and it just seems like 9 times out of 10 they make that play. I saw a play with Tyreek Hill where when I tell you, I don't even know how that play even worked, but he took it and he ran it for 60 plus yard. Like when you just have that type of wide receiver, and Dom, I get you. Like it was both those throws was very risky. But I just feel like, man, when you have that dog, when you got that wide receiver one that can make those plays, it usually works out to the quarterback's advantage. So
yeah,
I
having
agree.
DJ definitely changes things. It's just in those crunch time moments, I want to feel like Justin is in control, not
yeah.
like, oh God, like looking through my fingers, you know. And I
Yeah.
haven't quite gotten there yet. Granted, you know, it's early, but you know, in this last game at least is a start for sure,
Yeah.
because the game was there to be thrown away, and he didn't.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I guess we should this is a good segue to the first question that I have for you guys is, um, do you guys think that Justin is still trying out to be the quarterback of the future, or do you guys think that as long as the Bears don't have the number one overall pick and Caleb Williams is sitting there, do we move forward with Justin? And I think, um, in terms of what, because I watched, obviously the QB school, and I feel like I'm going to be talking about this every week, but it's just such a good JT O'Sullivan, and even the guys that break down film that have been doing it for years say that JT O'Sullivan is the best at it. Like the way his attention to detail is insane. But I was
yeah,
just watching him break down Justin's timing, and it's so much to be desired in terms of how much he has to improve. And that's crazy coming from a 300-yard 4 TD game and then a 285-yard 4 TD game. He still leaves so much on film to be desired. And that's insane. That just speaks to his ceiling and how high it is, because it's very, very high. But those hitch plays, to your point, Dom, like and JT O'Sullivan like slowed down Justin's process here, but he definitely takes like this extra step when he's about to throw these hitches, when he could just literally plant that back foot,
And just
step
go.
forward, and let it rip. Instead, he plants the back foot, hitches like this little mini step, this stutter step, and then throws it. And those split second things matter, because that corner, even though it was a touchdown and Justin put it in the spot that only DJ could get it, that corner jumped that route, and he knew it was coming. And if he put that ball low, it would have been a pick six.
Yeah.
So completely understand where you're coming from. And
Definitely.
and like I said, there's Justin's had a great game, and I still have so much belief in him, but he does leave a lot on film that you're like, okay, you could have done this so much better. But just to, I guess, like I said, segue into that question, whether or not we think Justin is auditioning for the QB of the future if the Bears do not have the first overall pick. What would you guys answer be?
I,
Go ahead,
I
Dom.
think he's I think he's very much still auditioning. Um, I don't think that Poles has ever really been all that sold on him. I think he, you know, gave him a decent vote of confidence this offseason where he was like, you know, I like you better right now than Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. And at the time, I think that was the right call. I would have made the same decision. But I think he's very much still auditioning um, to be the quarterback of the future. And you just can't guarantee anything. That's why everybody's talking about, oh, trade him now. No, because you can't guarantee that you're going to get the first overall pick. And, you
Right.
know, Caleb Williams has not sounded all that, you know, I don't think he would, and that's a whole nother conversation. I don't think he'd go back, and I don't think he would pull an Eli Manning, but it's just too much uncertainty. Um, to your point, I agree. There's so much stuff. I hate to be a negative Nancy, but like, man, when you watch that game, even without listening to JT O'Sullivan, you could, he's going to break it down even more than we could. But even just from watching it from our vantage point, he missed Mooney on the first play of the game. Maybe that
Yeah.
was Mooney. Maybe it was
I think
Justin.
that was Mooney,
That
but
was Mooney. Yep.
could have
But
kept
then he
running.
missed. Then he missed Mooney on a sail route, just wide
Yeah.
open. Missed him in the end zone, wide open.
Yeah.
And he could have. DJ could have had another touchdown. Mooney probably could have had one. And like you said, that those things where it's like guys with Cutler. How many times did we say, man, this guy's got all the talent in the world if he just fixes footwork, and he just never did. And, oh, if he like sky's the limit. Like, yeah, it is. Sky is the limit. But man, at this point, is it coaching? Like, I always wondered that with Nagy and Mitch. Like, are you not coaching him to change his mechanics? Are you not coaching him to not throw off his front foot? Like, is there coaching going on, or is he just not doing it? And same thing with Justin. Is like, are you coaching him to drop back very lackadaisical? Are you coaching him to not be meticulous with his footwork? Is somebody not telling him to not do this when he throws? Like, or is it just something that he's not going to change? He's going to play that got him, the way that got him here, which, I understand that too. But then it kind of limits the type of quarterback he's going to be. But I think he's very much still auditioning.
Yeah, football is it's a week to week thing, right? You can look great one week, look terrible the next week, and we've seen that with Justin Fields. I'm in agreement with you guys. It's still a wait and see approach. As much as the crazy thing about it, man, like I wish that the quarterback situation, we can solve it. That's just been the history with this team. We just can't get the right guy, and I feel like you see the tools that Justin Fields have, and you want him to be the guy. Like, I'm rooting for Justin Fields to actually be the guy, so then we can just move forward and then just build with build around him and get more pieces on the offense and defense and whatever. But it's unfortunately it's still a wait and see. We wouldn't be talking about a possibility of Caleb Williams if Justin Fields was out there balling. We wouldn't be talking about it. And unfortunately he hasn't been consistent. And what is this? Are we this year 3? Year 3 now. At some point, like, you're gonna have to figure that out, and you got to figure that out very, very soon, because the Bears are going to be in a position where you have 2 first round picks, possibly, let's say top 5, top 7 picks, depending on how the season plays out, where you can get 2 players that can really change your franchise, set your organization up. If you hit, can set your organization up for years down the road, right? So you want to have that quarterback situation figured out. I just think it's unfortunate that, here we are year 3 and we're still trying to figure that out. So, unfortunately, football is a week to week thing. This situation with Justin Fields is a week to week thing, because the first couple of games of the season, we just like, this is he's not it. But now he's putting up these numbers and showing that talent that made him that, the first round pick. And it's just like, okay, we see and it's just so up and down. It's so up and down. So, we'll see what it looks like at the end of the season, because I think that's what it's going to come down to. He's going to have to play the full season, see what that looks like, and then make your decision from there.
Yeah, I think this thing. Oh, go ahead, Dom.
I was just to what you were saying, and the change is so drastic and so quick, and that's the same thing I worry about with Eberflus. Like, these last 2 games, the change has been so drastic that, like, is this sustainable, or is it just a product of us playing, Denver and Washington? Like,
yeah.
At the end of the day, everyone's professionals, but the change is so drastic.
Yeah. The thing about the plan, this team or that team, you watch the NFL, and it's so, you just never know what you're going to get week to week.
Any given Sunday,
man. Just a few weeks ago, they was talking about how dominant the Denver defense was, and then they go to Arizona and they lose to Arizona, and then you see what San Francisco. By the way, San Francisco is an amazing team, so let me just kind of put them out there. But even I mentioned earlier about that Washington team, like they gave Philly everything they can handle, took them to overtime, almost won. And so the game football is so week to week. So I think that's how we have to approach this Justin Fields situation, where each game is week to week. As great as he was these last 2 weeks, we want to see the consistency, right? We want to see him put a string of games together. And we'll see Sunday. I don't know what to expect on Sunday. I don't know if he's going to give me 350, or I don't know if he's going to give me 150 with 3 interceptions. Like, we just don't know. And it's with that that's the frustrating part, that you don't know. So I can't sit here, it's just because football is just so up and down. It's I don't want to just paint that picture where it's because of the teams that we're playing. I just think that just the nature of football, just being week to week, you just never know. You just never know.
Yeah, I mean, you can only play who's on your schedule.
Yeah.
And if Justin didn't improve, we'd be, everyone, the trade talk would just be through the roof at this point. Like, people would already be talking about not even Caleb Williams, but Drake May and everyone else. And who else can we get?
Yeah.
Trade him to Atlanta and all this stuff. So
that trade, by the way, that's stupid. Why would we, that to Atlanta for who their quarterback in I think a 4th or 5th round? Did they?
Yes, I saw that.
No,
that's
hell
trash.
no.
And like, I get it. Atlanta's his home. Like, that's where he's from and whatever. But yeah, no, you don't trade Justin Fields for multiple reasons. Like, how does that look to your team first and foremost? that team, I mean, obviously they love Justin Fields, and they no matter how he plays, they believe in him, and you have to put some kind of stock into that. And how does it, like, future young quarterbacks that walk into your building, like, do they have to worry about getting traded if they don't play well enough? Like, I don't know.
And I'm already worried about players wanting to or not wanting to play here, so.
Yeah, I mean, if Justin continues to play the way he's playing, and that's the key, right? Like, to everything. That's the key to his future. It's the key to the Bears' future. It's the key to free agents coming here. It's the key to how this draft is going to look. It's the key to literally everything, how he plays going forward. If he continues to play like this, I sent you guys the stats, and I think they're even better now, of what he's projected to do. I think his projection is like basically 4,000 yards now with 30 plus TDs. And I asked you guys if that's his final stat line, no matter how how the win total looks, is that enough? Is that enough to not take a quarterback in this draft and move on with him? So I guess we're gonna see.
That's hard.
It's tough because, like, I know that wins and losses aren't a quarterback stat, but that is my biggest gripe with Justin. It's the late game turnovers and no game winning drives, big time losing record. Like, that to me, I saw a team last year, like you said, Washington gave Philly all they could handle. We were that team last year. We gave Philly all they could handle last year. We were in all of those games except for, like, the Jets game, towards the end of the year when we were starting, was it the Peterman? I don't even remember. But it's,
Peterman.
it's like, at some point, I want to see him, like, drive down, win a game. I don't care about the stats, like winning games, game-winning drive. Like, he could have 125, 1 touchdown, and 1 pick, but if he drove down at the end of the game and put the team on his back and did that multiple times, I'd take that over stats any day of the week. And I just have not seen that ever from him.
I agree with that. My only counter argument is the Bears have given up at least 24 points in every single game for their entire losing streak. And if someone put up what Patrick Mahomes' record would have been in that span, and he would have been like 9-14 or something like that. And it's just really hard to ask Justin to, and I don't want to seem like I'm making excuses for him, but at the same time, and this, I guess we could segue to the next question about Matt Eberflus. Matt Eberflus' defense has got to step up. Like,
at
terrible.
Some point, we cannot keep allowing 24 points at the very least every single game, at some point they got to have a damn good game. Like it just seems like there's supposed to be an opportunity defense. And I texted you guys this during the game. It's like it seems like every opportunity that they have for a turnover, they don't get it, whether it's a drop pick or they force a fumble. They don't recover the fumble or whatever it is. It just seems like this defense does nothing to help Justin out at all.
I will say that this past game Thursday, I saw a different type of defense. It could have been the same philosophy, but they were just more aggressive. And Dom, you talked about it
They
earlier.
were
Like
definitely more aggressive.
I couldn't even tell you the last time I seen a Bears team blitz that much. Like Eli, you said, bringing the corner.
Big Fangio was probably the
Yeah,
best dude.
like I mean, they were very, very aggressive. Like I think they had 5 sacks, and I don't think they've had that many sacks total all season. I think they only
They
had
had
2, one coming
They
into
had
that
one,
game.
yeah.
And so the fact that they have 5, again, I know Howell was the quarterback, but the Commanders they got some weapons on offense, and to hold them, especially the run defense was amazing. They did a really good job. Again, the Commanders they have a good stable of running backs, but the Bears, they dominated the run game. It was I think the stat they had minus 12 rushing yards allowed before contact. They allowed 29 total rushing yards and 1 first down in that entire game. So I saw a different type of Eberflus. And again, just like we asked for consistency with Justin Fields, let me see more of that. You don't have a San Francisco 49ers type defense. You don't, and most of your players are injured. So if that means you have to be more aggressive where you send more blitzes, let me see more of that than the conservative cover 2 prevent defense, bend, don't break. No, let me see more aggressiveness.
Yeah. It's the first time that I've seen the coaching staff on offense and defense seem to be engaged and be, as Draft Dr. Phil says, maniacal. It's the first time I saw them do that, where, okay, yeah, your secondary is banged up. All right, I'm going to have to get creative and find a way to get to the quarterback. It's the first time I've seen Flus do that. To me, I don't think cover 2 works. Like I would just, if I were a head coach, it would be my first thing. Like if I were interviewing DCs and you're like, yeah, I run a cover 2 or 4-3, I'd be like, all right, next.
Yeah.
Like I have no interest in it. I would want a 3-4 defense. I just cover 2 seems to me in this day and age with how you get free release with receivers.
Exactly.
Like, man, it just doesn't work.
Outdated.
Like
outdated.
You can't run it. And that's my biggest problem. For me, it's like, Justin, we've got questions. I'll wait and see. To me, it's like Flus has got to go unless he decides that he wants to flip it and run a 3-4, which he doesn't seem like he's that kind of guy. But at least in the last game, he did dial up some pressure. He got creative. He was like, all right, this shit isn't working. And I got to figure out something. And I thought the defense looked, again, I was blown away. I couldn't believe it. I simply couldn't believe how they looked.
I'm all for him keeping if his concept is cover 2, that's fine, right? Because that's what. But yeah, do away with the old school style of running the cover 2. Like I'm okay with seeing what they showed this past Thursday with the aggressiveness. I want to see more of that. I love the fact in today's NFL, you have to get a lot of pressure on a quarterback. If you allow any quarterback to sit in the pocket, and the way these receivers are the routes and as fast as they are, you're gonna get picked apart, especially with our secondary. So Dom, I'm with you. Like, okay, if you're gonna just run that simple cover 2, do away with it. Let's do something else because it's not working. But definitely be more aggressive.
Yeah, I agree with you, B. I'm cover 2 philosophy obviously is very outdated, and it only works if you have dogs up front. Like
Yep.
if Philly wanted to run a cover, if Matt Eberflus went to Philly and was
Yeah.
their defensive coordinator and said, "Hey, we're gonna run a cover 2," they could do it
Yeah.
to
'Cause
probably
they got that
perfection
front.
because
They got
you got dogs, not just like starting for the defensive line. They got dogs on the bench waiting to
Yeah.
come in and
Yep.
sub in for the defensive line. Like they just have a nasty front, so they could do it, and they could probably do it really well. But we are not that defense.
Yeah.
We have 0 pass rushers right now on the defensive line. I think Billings has been a great addition. He made
Oh
some
yeah.
nasty run stuffs. But in terms of just straight pass rushers, like go get the quarterback, no, we don't have them. So yeah, I agree, B. Like it was very refreshing to see Eberflus do something different this Sunday or this past Thursday, and just send guys and try to. I know you can't really disguise cover 2 coverages, and it's hard to confuse quarterbacks, but I feel like he tried a little bit against Sam Howell. So I think some of it was the benefit of going against Sam Howell and not Patrick Mahomes,
Yeah.
or Justin Herbert, or some of the guys that we're going to see down the line. But yeah, I mean, I just did you guys see that what Flu said in the presser today about hiring a defensive analyst
Yeah,
for
I sent that to
future?
you guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dom,
yeah,
you
you did
sent
send that.
that
You did
in the
send that.
text. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I was watching that press conference live, and when he said that, I was like,
"You're a defensive coordinator.
so this is basically Matt Nagy firing himself as offensive coordinator, but just not to that extent.
It's
not that.
Tell me another team in the NFL that this kind of thing happens. It just doesn't. Like this is only the Bears.
Or it's that he just doesn't want to put in the film room work to prepare for these teams, but he just still wants to call plays.
He's a head coach. That's
the thing,
not
like
he's not. That's not like you're a head coach. He has so many responsibilities. So
yeah,
don't stop making it so complicated. Like he just sounds stupid. Let me get a defensive senior analyst. Man, if you don't just go out and get you a coordinator and just bring him in and let him do a job.
That's
he just man.
He's
the
he's
reason
a head
why he
coach.
doesn't. The reason why he doesn't want to do that because he wants to call plays. That's what he wants.
Man, then he should be plays. The DC.
Like, exactly. Simple as that. Simple
the reason why he wants to call plays is because he knows his job is on the line and he wants to control his legacy. He wants to control the fact that if his defense improves throughout the season, it's because of him, because he's been calling plays. That's my theory, at least. But
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. It's just too much. It was just too complicated, man.
Which, by the way, my second question was, and I didn't even officially ask it, was if we think Matt Eberflus can do anything to salvage his job this year. Like, do we think that there is a avenue where Matt Eberflus is not fired after this year?
Ooh,
look, do I? Look, man.
And Tom, I know you got to run, so whenever you got a dip, just let me know.
Okay, this is the Bears. So, do I think he should keep his job? Absolutely not. I like him. I honestly feel bad for him, but I just don't think that he's capable. I just don't. At least not right now. But do I think there is a universe where he keeps his job? Absolutely. This is the Bears. I think George would want nothing less than to have him, or nothing more than to want to have him back next year. If he could find any reason to keep him, he's going to.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I tweeted as well after the game. I'm like, look, I'll be on my petty and we don't still fire this guy. Like, but then here's the thing, right? Like, if you look at this Bears schedule, look, I'm not trying to drink the Kool-Aid, and we just talked about how it's a week to week thing. But when you look at this schedule, it is so many winnable games on this schedule. And it's just like if he improves from what 2 wins last year, they won two games,
3.
three. If he improves from 3 to let's say 7, 8, what's the argument for getting rid of him? Because that's what
You can't.
that's what the organization is going to throw at you. Oh, look at the win improvement. Oh, look at Justin Fields and his improvement. Look at the growth with the offense. Look at the growth with the defense. If he starts to make that defense better. So then what would be your argument in letting him go?
There's no argument if they win 7 to 8 games.
Yeah, there's no argument. And here's the thing. That's us keeping him as a coach, them winning, them going from 3 wins to 8 wins. May not get you into the playoffs, right? It's definitely not going to get you a Super Bowl. You're not looking at the Bears team. And unfortunately, as Bears fans, and especially as an organization, I feel like we are so okay with the mediocre. We're just cool. Oh, he got from 3 wins to 8 wins. Yep, keep him, sign him, let's sign him up, give him an extension because look at the improvement. And yet you got these other organizations out here. You got the San Francisco 49. You got we're not at that level. I want to get to that level. Eberflus is not going to take us to that level.
No,
but we're cool with him getting us an extra 5 wins. So yeah, let's keep him for next year. And that's the way Chicago sports teams in general. That's the mindset.
And you know damn well he's not taking you there. And you know damn well the type of coach that you need to get there.
And
you need a guy. He's not it. And like I like him. He's a really nice guy. But to me it seems George does not like a certain type of coach that makes him uncomfortable when it comes to PR, having to answer questions. But the solution to that is having a coach that has everything under control. Like you got to just give power to that coach, and that's it. He says what he's going to say, but he's going to
likes nice guys.
Yeah,
George
he
likes
does.
Nice guys.
George likes nice guys. He likes yes men and guys that are gonna. You could tell when you're listening to, I think it was EQ. They asked him a question after the game, and the way he answered that question, it was like he had a gun to his head. And I feel like in Hallis Hall, that's how it is when it comes to the media. Like they are really, and like when Chase got out of line, he was gone.
Yeah. Look at what happened with Justin when he, tried to be honest with the media. They made him come back and redact his statements.
Yes,
I guarantee that was Bears PR saying,
so
Justin,
no question.
Yeah.
The world is on fire on Twitter. You better go back there and say something.
Go back there. Yeah.
Yes. So the type of coach that is needed to go to that level, George, at least up until this point, is not comfortable with having in-house. And he hasn't been since Ditka.
Real quick, the whole Chase Claypool situation, like I felt what Chase Claypool was saying, but it was Chase Claypool. Like if DJ Moore said something like that, if Justin,
which he kind of did.
I mean, the guys that actually
off field, or on field,
the guys that actually produce, if they would have came out and said the exact same thing that Chase Claypool said about, putting him in a position to say, then I don't think it would have been a problem. But because it was Chase Claypool, it was like, come on, bro, you don't got no credit. You have no credit right now.
There's no room for any of that
to say that. So, and that's a Notre Dame guy. I'm. Yeah, part of me hurt because I was like, man, come on, man. I said nothing but good things about you.
If he don't make it in Miami, then
yeah.
Dude, this dude's in a contract year. Like the fact that he's acting a fool when he's trying to get paid is wild. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Just go play. That's my thing with him. Just go play. He got the skill.
I don't think he will. If playing in the NFL isn't enough, if being in a contract year isn't enough, if being traded from a team who doesn't believe in you to the Bears, which that was the OG trade, isn't enough to motivate you, what else is going to motivate you? Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. There's nothing that can motivate this guy.
The red flag was when Tomlin traded him. I mean, I mean,
that's
Mike
wide receiver university over
yeah,
there in Pittsburgh.
and you know how loyal Mike Tomlin is to his players. For him to want to draft you and then he traded you, yeah, that was a red flag right there. But we were so desperate. Man, were we desperate for a wide receiver last year? Well, we looked at that and we was just like, oh, it's Chase Claypool. He put up 1,000 yards one year. Maybe this could big body pause that he can really do something. He can do something for Justin Fields, and he's in Miami now.
Yep.
It's a big whiff. I mean, a bigger whiff than Ogunjobi.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
that might have been the worst. That might have been the
whiffs.
worst trade since Greg Olsen. Like,
oh yeah,
ouch.
Yeah,
ouch.
that was bad.
Mike Martz don't use tight ends, whatever.
Dom, do you have to run?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna head out here, guys.
No problem, bro.
But
hi, brother.
Thanks for hopping on and
absolutely
giving us your thoughts. And hopefully you can hop on next week. We
absolutely.
We can talk about a Bears win against Minnesota.
Yes. Yes.
Fingers
Dude,
crossed.
I'll be so fired up if they
yeah,
put one on Kirk Cousins, hang an L on Kirk. Yes, sir.
That would be great. All right, bro. All right, Dom. Have a good night, bro.
All right, guys.
Dom.
Peace out.
Take care, bro.
Yes, sir.
Just that was the two of us. We can make it if we try.
The Will Smith version of that song is, I think,
it's
a
the
classic.
GOAT.
Yeah,
that's like every Father's Day. I just want to listen to that song, even though I have 2 kids now. But
yeah, my son, he doesn't play that for me on Father's Day. So he's just doing. He's like, Dad, what you gonna get me? What on Father's Day? But I gave you life.
Oh man. But yeah, I don't know if I've answered the question, but I could definitely see a world where Matt Eberflus keeps his job after this year. And it's definitely a Bears thing, because it's like, you said it perfectly. If you know that what's it going to take for Matt Eberflus to win a Super Bowl? Is it going to be because he's great at what he does, or is it going to be because of what's around him?
Yeah,
I think that's just the question you have to ask yourself if you're the Bears front office. Does Ryan Poles have to hit on every single draft pick, every single free agency move? Does Justin have to become a top 5 QB in the league in order for Matt Eberflus to elevate his team to a Super Bowl? Like, yes, that I am completely convinced. Yes. And listen, I get it. Every successful team out there has a great team. Like, they have great players. They draft well. They use money in free agency smart. I get that, but they also have a coach, especially the ones that are winning, at a consistent level, which is what we wanted here, which is what Ryan Poles literally said in his introductory press conference: we're going to win the North and never give it back. Remember that? So that he basically said we're going to be winning consistently. And
hasn't happened.
And I don't think Matt Eberflus is the head coach that gets you there. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm just tired of the settling. Like, the increments in being better. Like, that's enough. And to me, I'm just like, no, that's not enough. That's not enough. You can't sell me, what you just said, what Paul said in his introductory press conference, but then we're cool with this mediocre. Oh, we improve here. We improve just enough. So let's just bring them back for no. I don't want that. I'm tired of that. I look around the NFL, man, and I'm so envious of some of these teams, because I'm just like, you just look at their organization, and just how they run, and it's just like they're in it every year. 49ers and the Eagles and just these Baltimore, and they just in it every year. And it's just like, and yeah, I know they have great quarterbacks. Like I get that, but when you just look at them from an organizational standpoint, like that's I'm envy of that. I want that. I want that as a Bears fan.
Yeah, agreed. And listen, if Matt Eberflus is able to completely turn it around, and not completely turn it around, but able to string together some games, because in order to win 7 games this year, the Bears got to go 6-6 for the rest of the year. And if you ask me, that's pretty doable.
Yeah,
I think it's
definitely.
doable for the Bears to go 6-6 in the next 12 games. Um, I will tip my hat to his ability to turn it around a little bit, and given how bad it was earlier on this season, just a couple weeks ago, we were saying this was Mark Trestman 2.0. Like,
Yeah,
that's how bad it was.
yeah,
And if he's able to turn it around a little bit and win some games, I'll tip my hat to him. But I still just don't think that he is the dude that's going to lead you to a promised land, because the two most important people on the field to lead you to a Super Bowl is your quarterback and your head coach.
yep.
And it just, that Justin Fields, Matt Eberflus pairing, just
That's an ugly couple, man.
it just
That's a real ugly couple. Like if
they just
you
don't look
walk in,
right together.
they don't. You walk into, imagine walking into a party and you see them two and you just like, what? Justin, what you on, bro?
Justin, you settling, bro.
You
Stop
settling,
settling.
bro. You could do so much better.
Stop settling.
So much better. He doesn't complete you.
She's not your person.
He's not your person. That's not your everything.
Not your soulmate.
Hey man, shout out to some of our listeners, man. We got some day ones. I appreciate. I just want to shout them out real quick, man. Shout out to Sam. Sam's always tuning in, my brother-in-law. Shout out to Tina, even though she's a Green Bay fan. Oof. It's tough.
I appreciate the watching, but yeah, she does comment some out of pocket stuff.
Right. I got Alex, man. He's always sharing his stuff. My homegirl Nina, she said, is no one more loyal than a Bears fan. That's so true, right? That's so true. We live and breathe this thing. So just shout out to some of the listeners, man. They just been with us from day one, through the ups and downs. So we always appreciate you guys.
Shout out to Paul too. Paul seems like every episode.
Yeah.
Paul jumps on and on the live stream, and he'll ask us questions. He did ask us a question earlier, B, and I'll just, for the sake of shouting him out, see if we can answer it. So he says, if he balls out this season, I'm assuming he's talking about Justin Fields. If he balls out this season and we still have the number 1 pick, do we A, trade him and Justin, or do we B, trade the pick?
Yeah, man. My fear. My fear is if Caleb Williams is that dude. You know what I'm saying? Like if he's what they're talking about, if he's that generational quarterback that's going to just take your organization, a la Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, if he's that dude and we pass him up because Justin Fields had a good season.
Yeah.
That's my fear.
And on the flip side, I have the same fear that if we give up on Justin and he goes somewhere else and he plays like that Ohio State quarterback and leads a team to a championship, he's making Pro Bowls, he's an absolute superstar.
Yeah.
And sure, we might have a good quarterback, but yeah, that's also my fear, because that could happen too.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know we didn't answer the question. We just kind of danced around it. Sorry, Paul. Sorry. Yeah. That's hard. That's tough, man.
I'm assuming because he said if he balls out. So I'm guessing like Justin, he surpasses 4,000 yards. He's up there in the 30s in touchdowns, which is where he's trending towards right now. Do we trade him or do we trade the pick? B, what you doing? You're the number 1 overall pick. What you doing?
I'm trading
Trading what? The
Justin
pick?
Fields. Nah, I'm trading
Oh,
Justin Fields.
trading Justin.
I've never believed in a quarterback as much as I do Caleb Williams. I don't know. I'm so glad I don't run the Bears organization. I'm glad I don't run it because that's hard, right? Think about that, man. Like Justin Fields, and here's the thing: I think if Justin Fields has the season that his projection, they're not gonna get rid of him. I
No.
think they're gonna keep him, and they're going to trade the whatever pick that they have, right?
Mhm.
And get more for whatever, however they need to do it. Man,
Yeah.
it's Caleb
You wanna know
Williams.
you wanna know what
Go
that
ahead.
makes me think of? Do you remember I'm not gonna say the last quarterback, but it's the only quarterback I can think of that threw for 4,000 yards and then was traded the year after.
Drew Brees,
He was traded to Chicago.
Cutler,
Jay Cutler.
as his whole Jay Cutler.
He threw
Oof,
for like 4,200 yards in Denver, and I think that
and
was
they
his
traded
second
him.
season in the league,
Yeah,
and Denver traded him to
yeah,
Chicago. So that kind of reminds me of the Cutler trade. Now, I think the Cutler trade was more so because Josh McDaniels, if you remember, he was the head
yeah,
coach at that time of Denver, and he couldn't stand Jay
yeah.
for like character reasons,
That was a
and
personal. Yeah, that
yeah,
was more personal issues
he got
than.
rid of him. But
Yeah,
I mean, Jay Cutler never threw for 4,000 yards here,
that's
so
true.
was it
That's true.
justified?
And Josh McDaniels took Tim Tebow. I remember when they beat the Bears. Remember that game? And
Oh
and
man,
who was the running back that couldn't get out of bounds? That didn't go out of bounds? Eh,
Marion Jones,
m-
I think.
Nah, Marion
Yeah,
Jones. That's the track star, man.
or no,
No, Marion
Marion,
Barber.
Marion
Yeah,
Barber. Yeah, thank you.
yeah,
Wrong Marion,
yeah.
Marion Barber.
He didn't get out of bounds, and they could have. But yeah, okay. Anyway, so we going back. The hurt, right? The hurt is still there. What would you
But
do? What would
you
you do?
remember what we got or what we gave up for Jay? It was like 2 first-round picks, like just a haul that we gave up for Jay.
Mm,
So, like, you think if the Bears could get something like that if Justin balls out and we
yeah.
still have the number 1 overall pick?
Whew. Would you
Man.
do it? You have to be if okay, to Paul's question, right? If Justin Field balls out, pause. You have to be really if he has a great season, you have to be really convinced that he's your guy moving forward.
That he's going to continue to do that
Yes.
year after
Yes.
year after year.
Exactly. Not just 1 year.
Yeah.
Because maybe, yeah, right?
Because if he's throwing for 4,000 yards and 30 plus touchdowns, he's already got his leverage on that contract that he's about to get, and it's about to
Right.
be
Crazy.
insane.
Yeah.
So you
Especially
got
the
to
way they
think about
paying
that as
quarterbacks
well.
now.
If you're
Yeah.
keeping him, you're paying him a lot of money.
And how many years though? In 2 more years? So
So
after this
next
year and
year's
next year?
right, but
Okay.
you know, with these extensions, they getting them before they pick up that 5th-year option. Like
That's crazy, man.
they're getting these extensions early.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's a great question, Paul. That's an amazing question because I'm sitting here that makes you appreciate not being an owner of a football
right,
team. That's
yeah.
hard. That's tough,
GM,
man.
GM too. I don't want to be a
Yeah.
GM. Like,
Well, not I'm sorry, not an owner, but a GM who makes those decisions. That's tough.
yeah,
That's tough.
yeah.
That-
That's
yeah,
Ryan Poles has his work cut out for him.
he does.
If we have the number 1 overall pick, and if Justin continues to ball out this year, like that's a tough position to be in. I think if we don't have the number 1 overall pick and Justin balls out, I think that decision's easy. You keep Justin.
So okay, so then oh man, I know it's getting late. Let me throw this at you.
I could talk about this all night, bro. We
Right.
good.
He he has a great season, but if we have the number 1 pick, then that means that's not equating to wins. And so
That's true.
then is he responsible for that? Like, you want your quarterback to be the reason why you're winning games. And I
Right.
know you got to put the pieces around them, defense. I get all that. But
if the defense is still giving up 25 a game for the
well,
rest of the
forget it.
season,
Yeah.
then I could easily see the same exact kind of season that we had last year, where Justin may not be doing it with his legs, but he's doing it with his arm this year, but we're still losing games. I could easily see that.
And
It
so
happened last year.
is that enough? So then that's enough to keep him?
I think that's a situation where you keep him and you fire Matt Eberflus. But then you're putting him through a whole nother system.
Exactly. Yeah.
And at that point, if I'm Justin, I'm requesting a trade because why not?
Yeah, I got to get out of Chicago.
Yeah.
That's a good point. If I'm Justin Fields, I'm just
That's
like,
another
look.
thing that I fear is like if Justin balls out and we decide that, okay, Justin, we're gonna move forward with you. We want to keep you as our quarterback of the future. Justin's like, nah, I'm good. Trade me. I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah. Or he then says, get me another coach. And then on
Yeah,
top of that, look, man, the way these college players are getting paid, who's to say Caleb Williams comes out next year?
I
If
don't
he's
think he
not going,
passes up. I don't think he passes up that money
oh,
because
man.
I looked at someone compare the NIL money to being a number 1 overall pick, and bro, that's a lot of money he's gonna pass up.
Yeah.
If he goes back to college, even with the NIL, he's still passing up a whole bunch of money. I think he's still coming out. I do, but I don't know. Who knows? Maybe he does stay.
Time will tell.
Yeah, time will tell.
Right.
Paul, that's a great question. I
It
appreciate
was.
that question. But yeah. So you mentioned the Claypool trade. I wasn't even gonna talk about it because I didn't feel like giving Claypool the time of day. I feel like the way the Bears media just absolutely grilled Matt Eberflus about Chase Claypool was insane. I think it was that. When what was it before Thursday's game or after Thursday's game? I don't remember.
It was before.
It was before. Okay.
Yeah.
He looked like a deer in headlights,
Yeah.
which is part of the reason why I don't think he's your head coach because he very obviously cannot handle that kind of situation. But yeah, that was just a horrific trade by Matt Eberflus. It'll be a stain on his resume for the rest of his career, no doubt. But at the same time, it was like something that we understood.
Like I said, I mean, if it came from anybody else but Chase Claypool, he just don't get you don't got the credit, man. I'm sorry. And I hope he does well. Look, at the end of the day, man, he's still a young kid. And does he love the game the way he needs to love the game in order to be successful in the NFL? And that's what it comes down to with a lot of these athletes, man. Like, do you love the game? Do you want to put the work in? And they say his practice habits were great this year with the Bears. Like, he
was killing it in camp.
Yeah. You heard nothing but good things, right? It just didn't translate into the season. And as a wide receiver, we already know wide receivers are divas anyway. So, if you got he just had a lot of things between his ears. It's just a lot of things going on. So I hope he does well in Miami. He's not the man there. They got plenty of weapons there. He just adds to already.
He's like wide receiver 4 over there.
Oh my God, pretty much, yeah.
That team is ridiculous, but yeah, this rest of the season is gonna be interesting, especially what happens with. We're talking about paydays. What happens with Darnell Mooney because he had 0 catches in that game against the Commanders. And I know we talked about it earlier. Dom pointed out a couple misses by Justin going towards Darnell. And that very first miss, Darnell could have probably ran out the route and ran through the ball and caught it. But
Yeah,
his numbers aren't looking great so far,
no,
and he's on a contract year.
yeah,
So what do you do with Darnell? Do you re-sign him? Do you just bank on having a top 5 pick and you go for Marvin Harrison Jr.?
yeah,
And you just have him and DJ Moore tear up the league next year?
yeah. Yes, that's what you do. That's enough. Look, man. Look, I'm a huge college football fan. I watch tons of. When I tell you, I watched the game Saturday, Maryland and Ohio State, and I watched Marvin Harrison Jr. and I'm just like, all I thought was just him and DJ Moore, just doing a thing next year, man. And look, Darnell Mooney is a serviceable piece to your team. He can be a serviceable wide. He's a serviceable wide receiver.
I think he's a really good wide receiver 3. If he's
Yes.
willing to come back
Yes.
on a very team friendly,
Definitely.
I just want to stay in Chicago because I love it here. I'm connected here, and takes a decent discount. He could be a good wide receiver 3, a really good wide receiver 3.
Yep.
If he's your third option, I think that's a big if, though.
That's a big if.
I'm sure there's going to be, wide receiver needy teams that are going to be willing to pay him a decent amount.
The Chicago Bears are such a Chicago Bears ... We'll see. That's their like slogan for the rest of the year.
That's the theme. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We will see. Anyway, we're going to call it a night. We thank you guys for tuning in and listening. But before we do, actually, we want to do a segment that we like to call Rec of the Week. And we just give you guys a recommendation for could be anything, could be movie, TV show, restaurant, whatever we want to recommend and put out there, put you guys on. We do that to end the show. So, Bruce, do you have a rec of the week? Or shall I
do. No, I got one. I actually got one. There is this show on, man, I want to say Paramount Plus. It's called Special Ops Lioness, and it's with Zoe Saldana, and she plays this like special ops agent. It takes you on a crazy journey with her, and it's this other actress on there who plays this she's like a new special ops person, and she has to go through the rigors of the training, and then they put her on this special case, bro. From episode, I think it's like 8 episodes, and the very last episode, like everything comes together where the government's involved. It's worth the watch. It's called Special Ops Lioness, and Zoe Saldana, man, look, I just, she's one of the crushes, you know what I'm saying? Like she's very beautiful, very beautiful. So the show was not that difficult to watch, but it's called Lioness, man. It's I believe it's on Paramount Plus. I think that's what it's on, but very good show. It's not too many good shows that's on right now. So
it's rough.
that's one I saw, and I definitely recommend that.
Okay. Dope. I have it's a documentary on HBO.
Okay.
And it's very deep, and it's very it's informative, but it's also deep, and it can be very hard to watch at times. But it's called Savior Complex, and it's on HBO. And it's basically about it basically examines missionary work that white evangelical Christians go over to Africa, and it talks about the effect and the look that it has on black not just Black Americans, but Africans themselves,
Mhm.
and the the complex that has, and specifically about this American woman that went over to Uganda and wanted to save a whole bunch of people without any kind of medical training, and a bunch of people ended up dying, and it was just,
Wow.
yeah, it was some crazy stuff. But it's 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 very eye opening, especially
Mhm.
for people who have, who grew up in the faith, or you're Christian or whatever. It's very eye opening, and
Yeah.
it's really good. It's called Saber Complex on HBO. Highly recommend. Again, it is very deep and sometimes hard to watch, but I think worth it. So,
It's like is it gonna like lead me to Jesus? It's one of them
uh,
documentaries. Because
no,
I'm not watching it if it's
it's
gonna
not.
try and save my soul.
There is
I'm
no
just
altar
playing.
call. There's no altar call at the end.
We don't give communion during this documentary.
There's no altar call, no communion. There's no the Lord's Prayer. There's
Okay.
none of
Okay.
that. But yeah, I highly recommend it. It's very good.
Before we log, before we get off, it's hard watching documentaries like that. Being in a former youth pastor,
Hmm.
like I watch documentaries like that, and I just, yeah, I'm gonna have to prepare myself. Thank you
Yeah,
for just letting me know. Like it's some cringy parts on there, so I'm like,
it's
oh
hard
man, here we
hitting,
go.
especially for people of the faith,
Yeah,
or for Black people, like whatever. It should be hard hitting for everybody,
right,
honestly, but
right.
especially for a certain demographic, it's hard.
Hmm.
But it's like, damn, like I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I recommend
Okay.
it. Um, but yeah,
Cool.
that does it for us. Episode 27 in the books.
In the books.
We thank everyone who watched live. Gave a shout out to most of the people who are pretty consistent on hopping on and watching us, watching the live stream of the episodes. And if, for those of y'all who are listening on the audio podcast, we appreciate y'all as well, as always. Leave a review and a rating if you can. It helps us out a ton. If you are watching the live stream, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Give us a thumbs up on the live video. That helps us a lot too. These things take 0.2 seconds. It's just a
Yeah,
click of a button.
that's it, guys.
That helps us out a lot. So, and it's free to do. It costs no money. So do it, and we'd appreciate it.
No
Anyway,
doubt.
hopefully next Monday, Victory Monday against the Vikes.
Yes.
We'll see. We shall see. But yeah, until next week. Peace out, y'all.
Peace.